Heroquest, the Mage of the Mirror, is out, and I thought I would start the painting process with some of my most favorite creatures, and that would be the wolves. To get started here, let's take a look at all the different types of paints I'm going to use in this process. And I did forget one color, that would be black. But otherwise, everything you need is in this picture. Let's dive right into the priming process where I'm working with a gray spray primer. I've got Mechanicus Standard Gray from Games Workshop, Citadel line of paints. And my custom 3D printed priming tool works great for these miniatures. You can find a link to my Etsy store for those STL files in the description below. Step 1 is pretty straightforward and simple. I'm going to saturate the entire model with a black wash. I've got Nun Oil from Games Workshop, Citadel line of paints. If you're getting tired waiting for the wash to dry, feel free to take a paper towel and soak some of it up. All we need is for the wash to kind of live in between the details like in the mats of fur. Now we're going to start building up the gray and white areas of the fur, and to do that I'm going to start with a little bit lighter gray color. I've got Dawnstone, Games Workshop, Citadel line of paints, and using a medium-sized brush, this is an Artificer Layer medium brush, I'm going to start just laying down wherever I think a lighter gray or white fur is going to be. I'm going to move up to a brighter gray color. I've got Negative from Cold Crafts line of paints, and I'm going to apply that to similar areas, but just less of the areas. So I want less of this paint on the miniature as compared to the Dawnstone Gray. And one bonus tip is to not put a lot of paint on your brush and intentionally let it run out on the miniature as you're painting it. Therefore you get a little bit more natural looking variations in the fur color. The last main step of the fur colors is to take some white. I've got Honor from Cold Crafts line of paints, and I'm going to apply this over some of the areas that I just applied the light gray color to. However, the key thing here is you want to take your brush and paint backwards in the direction of the fur, and therefore you're going to catch some of the highlights kind of like a dry brush type technique, and therefore create some contrast between the bright white and a little bit lighter gray underneath. The last fur color I'm going to work with is a bit of a detail thing, and I'm going to take some Leather Brown from Army Painter's War Paint series and just apply a very small amount of this to a few areas of the white / light gray. Move on to miniature details, and the first step is going to be the inside of the mouth. I've got a blood red color. In this case, it's Evisceration from Cold Crafts line of paints, and I want to carefully paint this color on the inside of the mouth. I'm not too worried if it gets on the teeth, and honestly if it gets in the fur a little bit, well, that's just blood from a recent kill. From this point on, I'm using my Artificer Layer extra small brush for all the details. Then we've got the claws and the teeth. I want to paint the claws first to give the inside of the mouth some time to dry before I try to paint the teeth, but it's the same basic process. I'm going to take some white. I've got Honor once again from Cold Crafts line of paints, and I'm going to carefully paint each of the claws and then move on to each of the teeth. To finish up the claws and teeth, I want to take a brown wash. I've got Seraphim Sepia from Games Workshop, Citadel line of paints, and I'm going to cover that over each of the claws, the teeth, as well as the inside of the mouth. So it looks like I left out a color from my photo at the start. You need a little bit of black, and that is just to paint the nose of the wolf. The very last step is to tackle the eyes, and for this I'm taking a sandy yellow color. I've got Desert Yellow from Army Painter's War Paint series, and I'm going to apply a small dab of that in each of the eyes of the wolf. And with the eyes complete, we can call the wolves complete. Well, except for the bases, but I'll leave that part up to you. I think you can just slap some colors down there and make them look all dungeony, if that's a word or whatnot, because I guess that's where these guys take place. Maybe some snow. Oh wait, no, not snow. Wrong expansion. That would be the Barbarian one. These guys are from the Elf one. Snow would look cool though, even if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know. Wolves live in areas that have snow. Anyway, regardless, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Once again, I'm Jason, the creator of the Tabletop Battlefield. If you want to check out my 3D printed priming tool, my link to the Etsy store is below in the description. All right, I'll see you guys next time.